This is Andre Sweeney, the Life Specialist. Welcome to the Get a Life Show, the show that gives you the tools and principles necessary for an outstanding life. Today's segment is called the Quote of the Day, and today's quote is, sometimes you have to choose your battles. Now listen, I know that there are times when a battle is brought to you and you have nothing else to do but to stand there and fight it. But fundamentally, I agree with this quote. Sometimes you have to choose your battles. Not only do you have to choose them, you have to choose where you fight them. This is a society, this is a generation that loves to fight, that loves to fly off the handle, that loves to go off half-cocked, displaying their temper and their bravado, showing you how crazy they are, showing you what type of man they are, the type of machismo that they have. It's a crazy generation. But there was a book once written called The Art of War. And I want to talk about that word, the art of war. Now, that implies that there is a finesse to fighting. There is a side of fighting that takes strategy, that is for thinkers, not just brawlers, that is for people who are meticulous and who are detailed, and not just someone who's big and strong and likes to hurt people. There's an art to war, which means there's a premeditation, a time to sit down and plan to fight your battles. There are some things that happen to us in life, and we can't just go off half-cocked and start doing whatever comes to our mind. We have to stop, we have to think, and we have to plan how to defeat our enemies. There are a lot of situations out there that I'm sure that you're in, and I'm here to tell you that you just can't go off and lose that temper and begin to fight. Sometimes you have to choose your battles. There are some battles and some fights that are not even worthy of your time. They're not even worthy of you getting injured in the battle because they're petty. Many of the arguments that you get into with people, arguments you get into with friends and family, arguments you get into it with your child's mother or your child's father, are simply beneath us and waste time, which is something that we can't get back. Once time goes away, you don't get those times back. And every time you have a fight with a family member about your life, you're wasting time. Every time you argue with your child's father, your child's mother, you're wasting time. There are some battles that you have to put aside. There are some battles you have to wait and decide to fight them later. And then there's some battles that you can't fight on their territory. You have to fight them on your own. Think about it. Think about all the arguments you've been dragged into, all the disagreements. Were they worth it? Did you win them? Did they make your plight in life better? Did they make your position in life a little easier? No. Most of the time, you fought them, and all they did was stroke your pride. All they did was make you feel like you were a bigger person when in fact you look smaller. You gotta learn how to choose your battles. Some arguments that spouses have. Many of the arguments we have with our spouses are unnecessary. They don't really improve our marriages. We just fight them to see who's right and who's wrong and to stroke our egos. You argue over the toilet seat being up. You argue over a sock being left on the floor. And I'm not saying those things don't matter, but I am saying in the big picture of your marriage, was it the battle worth fighting? Do you fight for your marriage? And that's a battle worth fighting. Do you fight for your relationship with your children? Those are battles worth fighting. Do you fight to get your education? Do you fight that young people have mentors? Do you fight that fight? No, many of us are out there fighting stupid fights. And you can see, based off what our young people do, that there are young people getting slaughtered in the streets every day because they fight battles that are unnecessary. They fight for territories that they don't own. All of you young people out there, all of you gangs out there that are fighting for neighborhoods, most of you rent those houses in those neighborhoods that you fight against. You don't even own the territory that you're fighting. Bad battle, waste of time. This is Andre Sweeney, the life specialist, and I'm here to tell you sometimes you have to choose your battles, and all the time you have to get a life.